Let's learn how to use the Excel index function with the real-world example. So in this example, I have some time card data. So as you can see, each row, each column is representing a different date. So we have employee number 1, Sean. Here's his regular hours for these days, and as below you can see the overtime hours. So we're going to be walking through creating a table that you'd be able to use for reporting purposes. Let's just say, for example, you have multiple managers managing different crews, and they're all entering these spreadsheets weekly or bi-weekly for their payroll. Once payroll time comes around, you have to then ingest all the data. If you are using a template like this, you might want to, I would suggest creating a background table where it actually puts the data in a cleaner format. That way, if you ever connect Power Query to it, and let's just say you're loading all of your Excel files from one folder, you could put all your payroll files from all your different managers into one folder. You could then go into your Power Query and merge all the data from all the files into one table. So if we come over here to this other table that I have set up, I'm taking the date and I'm creating a column for that. This way we're not limited to those 3 different date fields we have over here. You could have your users enter any date and it'll populate on this table for us in a nice clean format. So we're going to be using the index function. So as you can see, what I did here was I just created a static table where I put in 3 different groupings. So these 3 different groupings are these 3 different columns for the 3 dates. So as you can see, grouping 1, grouping 2, and grouping 3. You can then see that I have the column that's representing, because with the index function, you're essentially pointing to a table and you're saying return where the intersection of this column and this row is met. So we're creating our intersection points right here with our different columns and rows of data we want to populate here. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to put an index function to return the date for all of these different rows. So all we have to do is type in equals index. As you can see, it now says array. So this is the table that we're pulling from. So we'll select the table. And then as you can see, the next is the row. So we actually want row 1 for this guy. So we're just going to plug that one in manually. So it's just going to be the date field. It's a header. And then as you can see, column number. And from there, we'll just select our column number. And then as you can see there, it creates our 5 different rows for each of those different dates. Now we're going to do the same thing for the employee. So once again, equals index. Come back over here and select our table, comma. Next is going to be the row. So we're going to select our row, comma. And then employee, that was also just 1, since it's always going to just be this first column. So we're just hard coding that. Once again, index, open, select table. Come back over here and now we'll select this row. And this is going to be the second column. It's always going to be the second column, so we can also statically enter that. So now we need the hours. So once again, another formula here. Index. Select our table. And from here, we're going to select both the row and the column that we have in here. So if we look at a total here for this hours, as you can see in the bottom, we have 78.5. So we're just doing a quick check here. So if I highlight all these, 78.5, so we know that we're doing this properly. If you are going the route of actually ingesting multiple different worksheets, what I would suggest doing would be creating like a filter. So you could do if open parentheses employee equals 0, then no, else yes. So what you would then do is you'd spin up another worksheet. You'd be coming in a new worksheet, you'd go to your data tab, get data, from file, from folder. There's multiple different templates out there that you have with data in them. You could put all of those into one folder. You could then open up Power Query, pull all the data from the folder, so it'll rip through all the different Excel files, and then with that example, you could apply a filter to say, exclude all the ends. So that way you only have the actual relevant data. So hopefully that quick example helped. Like and subscribe, baby.